only of two-wheelers, and what is BOSCH doing in two-wheeler space in India. It's one of the special events because first of its edition had happened in 2016, where we spoke just a preview on what BOSCH has, and in 2 years' time, the entire spectrum of mobility within two-wheelers has changed. And before I go with the lot of points, a special welcome to Oydessy. It was a ride from Artex to Entartex, where we had team of bikers going into this, exhibiting BOSCH technologies on its Bajaj Dominar. And it was a very interesting journey because it went across 15 countries, about 51,000 kilometers in about 100 days. They call it zero breakdown. And one of the colleagues of this journey was a BOSCH associate, and we will be listening from him as well on this journey. The agenda for the afternoon is something like this. We would have two presentations. This will be followed by a question and answer session. We will be hearing from our colleagues on the journey of Oydessy, and we will also get a time to have a dialogue with him as well. And then we will break for lunch. So without any further delay on this topic, I would like to call on stage the first two speakers who will take you through the journey of BOSCH and BOSCH two-wheelers in India and global. First, from Indian perspective, I would like to have Prabhu Panduranga, the head of two-wheelers business and powersports business in India, up on the dais. Could we have Prabhu, please? And along with Prabhu, I would like to call on stage Jeff. He is the head of two-wheelers business for global, two-wheelers and powersports from BOSCH Global. Can you have Jeff on the stage? So we get into a lot of conversations with them today. We have presentations from both of them. And without any further delay, I would like to hand it over to Jeff. Jeff, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning all. I'd also like to welcome the ladies especially today, with the International Ladies Day. Before I get into my speech, I'd also like to show you a short video in some of the technology that the Two-Wheeler and Powersports organisation has been developing over the last 4 years. Good, so before we start, a little bit about myself. I must actually start with two apologies. The first one, I apologise about my accent. I am actually speaking English, but probably not as well as some people would like. You can probably tell by my accent, I'm actually from Australia. And this is the second apology. I apologise for the very, very poor performance of our cricketing team in the last 12 months. And I promise that I will do my best to encourage the team to come back and at least give you a challenge in the next 12 months. So yeah, myself, I'm actually situated in Tokyo, in Japan. BOSCH decided 4 years ago to start a two-wheeler and power sports division. that only focuses on two-wheeler and power sports technology. You saw from the video some of the technology that we've been playing with in the last 4 years. And India, for us, is a very important market for a couple of reasons. One is we have a very big development centre here in Bangalore that's responsible for all of the single-cylinder engine development is done here. And the second is, as a market, it's one of the first moving emerging markets that we see in two new technologies, in the braking technology and also in the engine management system technology. So today, I will give you a short walkthrough about the technology areas that we're playing with and what we have been doing, and a little bit of insight in what we will do in the future years to come. If we look at the global market, we have a situation where we have some very clear trends. Urbanisation is happening everywhere, and with urbanisation comes congestion and pollution. So these are important topics that we need to solve for the future if we want to have a sustainable industry. Of course, you saw in the video, safety is also an important topic, and therefore BOSCH is pushing heavily also in this area. For the future topics, we also see connectivity as being also very important. Connectivity means, for me, connecting the rider to the bike, but also connecting the bike to the infrastructure. And we will show you later some examples of technology that we're developing in this area. When we look at the emission situation, here in India, is a significant change for a market like yourself. You have a very large market, and to shift everything into an EFI-based technology in such a short period of time will definitely be a challenge. BOSCH has been developing for quite a number of years, as I mentioned, here in India, technology that's suitable for single-cylinder engines and suitable specifically for emerging markets. We see with EFI technology up to 16% reduction in CO2 emissions, and with reduction in emissions also naturally comes an improvement in fuel economy. So it's not only good for the environment, it's also good for your wallet in regards to having a long-term impact or total cost of ownership. Internal combustion engines, improving the emissions is one side. The other side is electrification. BOSCH has also been preparing all different types of powertrain technologies in the electrical space. We have 48-volt systems starting at 250 watt, 500 watt, 800 watt, 2 kilowatt, 4 kilowatt, and even up to 20 kilowatt systems. At the moment, the size of the electrification market is still relatively small, but we see electrification will definitely come. It's just a matter of how fast it will come. The technology is available. It is very good. From a cost perspective, this is one of the key topics that we're working on to bring the cost of electrification down, because at the moment the price of an electric bike with the same capacity as an internal combustion engine is not yet on a 1-to-1 scale. When we talk about safety, you saw some of the statistics. If we start first on a global basis, 3,000 people per day are killed on a global basis. On a motorcycle, that adds up to 240,000 deaths per year because of motorcycle accidents. This is a challenge that we as BOSCH want to solve. We cannot solve it completely with just one technology, but we want to push the limit in all technologies in order to make significant improvements in this area. Here in India, we also have about 140,000 deaths in vehicles per year. From a motorcycle perspective, about a third of those are in the motorcycle space. Therefore, we also can have a significant contribution here in this market. ABS technology is one of the technologies that we will bring that does have an impact in this area, and we see a situation that about 30% of accidents can be avoided with ABS technology. And therefore, for us, it's very important that we keep a look in the future for all technologies which can bring us towards accident-free mobility. For us, safety is one of the highest priorities. How do we solve this topic? The first topic from my side is to always make the vehicle stable. Of course, we all know motorcycles, one of the rider's worst nightmare is the front wheel disappearing in front of you when you're halfway through the corner. ABS technology takes a significant step to avoid front-end losses. BOSCH has been active in ABS technology since 1992. We bought ABS technology in motorcycles that far ago. But we've progressively been working on this technology, and in 2013 we bought the new ABS technology we call MSC, Lean Angle Dependent Braking, which means that when you're in a corner, if you grab the front brake as hard as you like, the front end still doesn't lose its way on the road. It's very difficult to explain this. You have to write it, and it also takes you quite some time for your brain to accept that you can grab the front brake very, very hard in the corner and still end up in a safe situation. So this technology also gives us a significant step forward in regards to safety and vehicle stability. The second area that we're working on is advanced rider assistance systems. Our vision in the future is to have a 360-degree view around the bike, so that I can tell where vehicles are, where objects are around me at all times. Some years ago, 3 years ago, we already bought the first of the systems, ultrasonic system on a scooter, where we could do blind spot detection on the sides at low RPM. And now we will bring some radar-based technology with a radar at the front and a radar at the rear, which can measure up to 160 metres in front of you, so that you can see your positioning on the road and relative to the other vehicles that are around you. The third area, from my perspective, that can help in safety is connectivity. I mentioned before, for me, connectivity is me to the bike, but it's also bike to the rest of the world. We have already, and I'll show in the next slide, a system which allows us to detect where vehicles are coming around blind corners and give warnings to the rider so that we can avoid such accidents. And in the case when occasionally there is an accident, we have systems which can provide things like emergency calls in order to bring the emergency services to the rider as quickly as possible. Motorcycle ABS, I mentioned before, we see that motorcycle ABS can actually bring a significant reduction in injuries. About a third of all accidents from the statistics that we've done can be avoided with ABS. BOSCH has been working on this for some time, and we have already here in India localised last year in our plant in Chakan the newest ABS Generation 10 technology, a very small ABS technology suitable for bikes less or up to 250cc category. Legislation here in India last year, from the 1st of April, all newly homologated bikes must have ABS, and from the 1st of April this year, all bikes greater than 125cc must have ABS. And therefore we will see a significant penetration in the Indian market of ABS technology, and for us, one step forward in regards to accident-free riding. Now I show you a little bit about the history. If you look in the top left-hand corner, that is actually a passenger car ABS, and it was the first ABS that was fitted to a motorcycle. Weighing in at a very light 4.5 kilograms, it was extremely heavy, and it wasn't very effective, or it wasn't very suited to the application. You can see since 1995 that was brought to market, we've progressively made new technology which is always smaller and lighter in the ABS technology. And Generation 10, which I just mentioned, and there's some samples on the back wall, it's down to 1/10 of the original size of the first ABS that we brought to the market. So a very significant reduction in box volume and a significant reduction in weight, and of course with volume and weight also comes a significant reduction in cost. Motorcycle stability control. When you bring a standard ABS system, we add to the ABS system a special sensor we call an IMU. This sensor is a 6D sensor. It can measure orientation in every axis and acceleration and deceleration in all axes as well. It means we have a full picture, a 3D model of a motorcycle and how it's behaving on the road. And with that model, we can then accurately predict what is the maximum braking performance that you can have in that situation before you cause yourself an accident. And then we can limit the amount of brakes on the front and the rear to avoid a sliding situation or to avoid a front-end washout. With our high-end system, we can also do electronic brake distribution. So if you're braking on the rear, it can automatically brake as a percentage for you on the front to give you a significant stopping reduction. This technology we brought to the market in 2013 in Europe, but we already see in the high-end market a very good penetration rate in the high-end market, and we also now start to see this technology coming down into the 400cc to 600cc category, and we will see the technology here also in the Indian market in the very near future. Our aim is also to bring MSC technology to all motorcycle categories. It is a very, very good technology. The only thing we have to work on is cost. If we can bring MSC to all motorcycles in the world, we can have a significant step forward in regards to accident safety. Radar-based solutions. We have already released last year in Oydessy a radar-based solution. We have a radar, we call it a mid-range radar on the front of the motorcycle and a mid-range radar on the rear of the motorcycle. For the front, we can do a full automatic cruise control. You basically ride the motorcycle to the speed you want, press set, and you can't take your hands off the handlebars, but you can effectively sit back and relax. The bike will manage to always keep the right distance between yourself and the vehicles in front of you. This originally was set up specifically for freeway use or for straight line use, but the system itself, the performance is quite good, and you can use it also in competitive situations. It is a really good technology. I'll give you one example for myself personally. Not the MotoGP fan this year, last year. It was raining heavily. And we had a 3-hour ride from Tokyo to the MotoGP. And on the freeway, you could not see 30 metres in front. You could not see anything beside you. It was mist, it was fog, it was horrible. And during this time, I was trying to do a lane change. And the system can tell me with the radar that there's someone in the blind spot, so I can choose when I was going to change lanes. And the second thing, which was the most amazing for me, there was one period where the cars in front actually decelerated. I couldn't see them, but the radar system obviously can see through fog, it doesn't have a problem, and the bike started to decelerate and brake, and therefore it brought me to a situation that was completely safe. So it's not only a convenience function, it also has an element of safety built into such systems. So on the front, we bring two topics. One is the cruise control, the second is the forward collision warning to warn you that there's an accident coming from the front. And from the rear, we have a radar-based cruise control, which works even at high speeds. So if you have one lane going at 100 kilometres and another one coming at you at 160 kilometres an hour, it's detecting far enough back that it can make sure that you do not go out and get smashed by a vehicle that's coming from behind you. Of course, this technology is suited very much for the bigger bike market today, but we want to push on this technology as well to bring it down into the lower end markets. From a convenience point of view, it works in all markets. From a safety point of view, that's our challenge. We also have to work on this technology to bring the safety benefits into the market. The other area, the connectivity area, we started 3-4 years ago with high. The other technology which you saw on the video, bike-to-vehicle communication, we have already prototype systems running which allow us to do real-time communication between vehicles and motorcycles. The bike can accurately predict with our sensor where it is going. The car is doing the same prediction, and if those two paths cross with speed, then the system can say it's going to be an accident and gives both the audio warning to the rider and an alert to the driver in the car. So a very good way of bringing a simple system to avoid accidents in the future. Today, the cost is relatively high, but with the next generation of mobile phones with 5G technology, this price point will already be existing in your cars and your telephones, and therefore we expect to see this coming to the market in 2025 onwards. The last one, which we also brought to the market already, is emergency call. With our sensor and our system, we can tell the motorcycle has crashed, and therefore we can actually place an automatic emergency call to the authorities. And of course, if you're still in a state that you can talk, the system, if you're connected, you basically still have communication to the authorities on the other end. If there's no communication, we can send exactly where your bike is, and therefore they can come and find you relatively easily. So, I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight of what we've been doing in the last 4 years, and some of the technologies that we've got coming for the next years. Our vision in general, we want to bring all technology to riders. Generally, that means we have two paths to entry. One is we bring it into the high end and bring it down, or the second part of entry is to bring specific technologies for all market classes in parallel. And you can see with the products that we have also on the back, which you have a chance to look at afterwards, we have both methods running at the moment, and you'll continue to see this technology come to the market in the next 2 or 3 years. I'll now hand over to Prabhu, who will give you a bit more of insight specifically for the Indian market rather than the technology in general. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to wish all of you a very happy Thursday. I would like to take you to the 2-wheeler journey in India. I think post-independence, I don't know how many of you remember, it was first Royal Enfield that to mostly second-hand bikes from defense or police with green bikes. I don't know whether you know. It is I remember that. Then came Bajaj, I think Lambretta, Freya, no, what was that? So these were kind of famous people at that point of time. And you know, very few guys in the town had this, so it was very kind of interesting. Then came SC Raju motorcycle. I remember I was very small and there was a mechanic shop. SC had 2 silencers, and I asked him what are these 2 silencers, because all of the bikes had only 1 silencer. He told me one is for smoke, other is for oil. So actually I didn't know, I believed it. Then came this Indo-Japanese collaboration. I think first was, one of the first was Insuzuki. That was also, I have a very good memory of that because my brother had the first winding of a town. There were 5 or 10 bikes in the town that my brother had one. And you may not believe he sold it after 20 years for a value higher than what he purchased. So he was saying it was a very good investment. I had this bike for 20 years, right? And then I could sell it for a value more than what I purchased. And I think I missed one point regarding this that part of Bajaj scooter. At that point of time, I got waiting period for these scooters and waiting period for landline was there. I don't know whether you remember this. And at least the scooters probably would have advanced by being foreign exchange, whereas you could not have advanced your landline by foreign exchange at that time. Then came in 90s Amara Bajaj, Shepherd. So that's also great success in the Indian market. And then in late 90s came first BOSCH. I think it started with the 0 and that was it was so silent. It was absolute pleasure to see 4-stroke bikes compared to 2-stroke bikes at that point of time. And I guess that is when kind of people were using it as a transportation. Although it started off with status symbol, slowly because of the mass market and the affordability, I think it got converted into a transportation segment from point A to point C. Then initially it was low for the bike, and then also the aspiration levels went up. Everybody wanted to try a little bit more powerful, more safer bike, and that's when the Bajaj Pulsar, the higher end of the bike started. And then it further went up in the around 2010. We had much higher city bikes, much more powerful bikes. So it was not only status, but also people wanted to enjoy the ride. It was no longer point A to point B, although that segment still continued. There was also other segment which they wanted to have a better ride. And since then, there are a lot of changes have happened. So going forward, what is changing? So majority there are two segments, commuter and higher end of the segment. In the commuter segment, technologically, a lot of things have happened. We started from a BS2 and are now going to BS6 in 2020. And from our side, we have fully, made this bike capable of delivering BS6 requirements. And also, even for the lower end of the segment, we have assistance system as well as connectivity. Then going to the bike motorcycle, that's the higher end of the segment. The requirements are also completely, not completely different, but demands are higher. Riders want to push the limits. They want to have a higher performance, and that's where the system technology comes into picture. So we have, like just explained earlier, we have all the latest advanced systems which can meet customer expectations and better, both in terms of, say, the emissions, as power, or safety and connectivity. From BOSCH side, we can cover end-to-end. When it comes to assistance, we have single channel, dual channel, covering entire spectrum of requirements, right from lower side to higher side. On the powertrain system, we have compact designed for two-wheeler system. So it's a platform system which can cater to requirements of all the factories. It's a question of configuring the individual requirements. Otherwise, it's a standard system that we have developed to getting two-wheeler in mind. On the connectivity side as well, was already covered by that. We have most of systems available which can cater to complete requirements. And on the electrification side, there also we have end-to-end products covering battery, motor, controller, connectivity, complete system for electrical two-wheeler. Market scenario, the demand is going up. I think this year it's around 20 billion, including export, which is likely to grow to around 26.8 billion in 2022. So this is the data from the for users, why there is an increase in demand? There is a rising personal income level, and there is a better infrastructure now, and also it's much more convenient for say smaller distance within cities. So that's what we see from the user perspective, and from the manufacturing side. There are a host of models everybody is offering at the moment, and it's a huge growth market in India especially. So everybody wants to have a share of this market, and that's where you can see every OEM is coming out with a newer model. How are we prepared for what's prepared? We are fully prepared end-to-end, meaning right from requirement stage, development, then design and manufacturing, including aftermarket service. This end-to-end coverage within India. So most of the components we manufacture in India, we design and we support our customers in India. The competence center for electronic fuel injection is also in India for this particular market. And that's something the value add that we bring on the table for all of the customers in India. As I said, end-to-end, we are the competence center for single-cylinder electronic fuel injection control in India. We have all the test facilities, be it cold chamber or electrical dyno or engine or chassis dyno. So these all facilities are available. And we also develop functions and systems to meet the local requirement. We adapt the system for the local requirement. So that's our offering on the table. Overall, we are fully equipped, fully prepared to meet all the future needs. So I request you to make it forward.
Life. It is a series of challenges. Familiar, unfamiliar, a long series, nevertheless. Passion, however, is what inspires you to get through. Slow, steady, step by step. Stopping is not an option because I know the rewards won't talk to me unless I take those leaps of faith. my confidence, and my life's promise of safety. And the belief that once we hit the road together, nothing can stop us. Well, as they say, the show must go on. When technology meets passion, you can meet any challenge and refuse every defeat. That, for me, is the true spirit of the ride. I am a girl, a student, a rebel, and a writer. I am Roshni Misbah.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks, Jeff. We now move into the Q&A for this. I request the press members to introduce themselves and the publication to the present. We will start with it, and to whom you wish to address this. Thank you. The first question from here, please.
Hi, I'm Jason sir from Automotive Lead. You said establish your manufacturing line for ABS in chopping plant. Can you please throw a bit more light about the chopping plant? What is the current capacity, and what kind of business we are expecting with the government making it mandatory by next year? ABS.
Okay, so the chopping plant has been there for some time. Mainly, well, in the past it was focused on ABS technology for passenger cars. And we decided previously, before bringing to the chopping plant, we did manufacturing for most of the Indian market was actually done out of Turkey in Japan. And the decision was to localise here, and of course we chose to go to the chopping plant because this is the same plant where we have the base technology that's used for the passenger car. And we installed the first line in March last year, and it's been running already for approximately 12 months. And from a capacity point of view, we will continually build capacity there, in line by line, depending on what's necessary for the market here in India, and also for some export markets we also do from here in India.
Hi, this is Dan Gupta here from Oydessy. My question is that, So my question is that a lot of these accidents, in fact, today I was on a bike and one of the cars was just turning right. You know, it was opposite red line, I was going from right side. It suddenly turned right, and you see that often we know while driving. So you say you have lane, blind spot monitoring, right? On the motorcycle, we see them in the cars these days, but only in high-end cars. So is there sort of a preventive technology that you can work on where it also takes care of what others are doing on the road? Like if you're passing someone and motorcycle being in the blind spot of a car is one of the most common reasons for accidents on highways especially. So is there anything where, it sort of makes a loud noise or something like that that it wants the car that you're in the front?
Yeah, exactly what I mentioned. The technology is available. We can sense in a full 360 degree around the bike. And for the rider, we can provide feedback through audio on helmets. We can also make a noise for other topics. So it's not really a technology topic. The question is, how do we get the price of technology down to a point that we can equip a larger number of bikes? And at the moment, the technology is still quite expensive, and therefore you'll only see it at the moment on the high-end vehicles. But please understand that in the next years, autonomous vehicles in non-emerging countries are going to become mainstream. And the sensors that we are using on the motorcycle are sensors from the four-wheeler, which means that when the volume for autonomous vehicles goes up, the volume of the sensors will go up a lot. And then we hope we have scales of economy that we can bring down the price of the sensor, and then we can look at using this technology also in the mid-class bikes and the lower class bikes.
Hello. The next question was there.
Yeah, this is Adil from Fast Bikes. Very important question both to Jeff as well as Oydessy. Everyone talks about we having made the shift, skipping BS5 and now gone to BS6. Fundamental question is, what does BOSCH see? How far can we push the internal combustion engine, and how relevant will it be, say, over the next couple of decades, at least for single-cylinder motorcycles or two-wheelers here in a developing world?
Maybe I can answer that also on the basis of passenger car as well. There is still a lot more technology to come in regards to what is possible for reducing emissions in general. And what you can do on a passenger car, you can also do on a motorcycle. So we've got systems already in development where I would class the car as a cleaner, because it's actually putting less pollution out than it's bringing in. It really has such a good performance. The only problem is cost, because the systems themselves, you have to put a lot of extra control around the internal combustion engine, and that control and parts cost money. So I don't think it's a topic of technology, it's just a pure technology, a pure topic of cost. And if the push continues to come, like it is for a global environment where we have to keep reducing emissions, we're certainly not finished with the technology we can bring to the market. The only question is, at what point does the cost become too much?
Is there also a packaging issue when you try to look at link the cost from a car to a two-wheeler? Of course, the size and the volume is very, very vital there on a two-wheeler.
Yes.
So,
For sure, the challenge is there's a few things. A single cylinder engine also, from a temperature point of view, runs in a different temperature range. So there's some topics which technically don't scale perfectly between a passenger car and motorcycle. But the base technology can be brought across. But packaging is definitely one of the topics. Physically where they need to be in a motorcycle frame is definitely one of the challenges that we've got if we want to bring that technology into the motorcycle space. Can it be done? Yes. It's just money.
I mean, if you look at BS4 to BS6, there is still the pollution percentage-wise is reduced by 85%. So that's the legal limit, but when you put the system in the market, the engineering limits are much, much lower. Now we can imagine from which stage to which stage we are coming. And more of that, the one BS4 bike, it produces emissions 5 times higher than BS6. That's the ratio that we are talking about.
and the pricing for that?
So I had a similar question. We can't tell, because we've got components going onto the motorcycle, but there's also components coming off the motorcycle. So if you want to talk about the end price to the end user, then you have to discuss that with the OEM. We provide the technology, we don't set pricing, and we don't understand exactly what the reduction of some of the components. If, for example, carburetor, we don't sell them, so I have no feeling for that overall price increase.
Sir, my name is Sanjay Agarwal. I'm from Newswest India. The first question is, your motorcycle stability control versus the ABS, are these independent of each other? Or they have to be like, it's either one of them which is the choice. And second question is, when you're talking about the emergency broadcast, so the device was fitted in the bike. and there's nothing in the rider. You don't have any device in the rider or an element. Last year, one Harley Davidson, jumped in Delhi, and the rider was not formed, the bike was formed.
Yes.
So, what's your take on that?
So, for the first question, sorry, I missed the first question.
Yeah. First question was ABS and the motorcycle stability control. Are they independent or they are?
Okay, so I can answer this one relatively easy. The base ABS, we have multiple different layers of ABS, but in our high-end ones, the base ABS, the hydraulic unit is exactly the same. We don't change anything mechanically, but we have, of course, a lot more software in there to do a lot of work. And we have to add a sensor called an IMU, the small box, which measures the 3D positioning on the bike. So the only additional on cost is this sensor. The sensor technology is the same technology as used in ESP and passenger cars. So the small microelectronic sensor, we've packaged into a small box, and this also is used in the same thing, but the hydraulic unit, or the ABS hydraulic unit is the same on the higher end. On the lower end, we are missing one pressure sensor. We need one additional pressure sensor if we want to do a proper MSC system on the low end. If we put a sensor that goes with it.
This is the second question, yeah.
The second question.
Emergency.
Yeah, sorry. Emergency in general, we have technical solutions where everything is on the bike. So effectively a telephone is inside a box in the bike, and we have the sensor on the bike. So the bike itself is completely equipped that you do not need any intervention from the rider. It can make an emergency call. But of course the cost there is relatively high because you have a second telephone that's on your bike and you have a sensor that all goes with it. So you can do the same technology, the same type of technology using the phone as the mechanism to make a call. The only problem with that is you can't always guarantee that the end rider pairs his phone to the motorcycle every single time he hops on the motorcycle. So the reliability of such system is very much dependent on the end user always connecting his telephone to the motorcycle. So both technical solutions are possible. The other one in regards to separation of rider and bike. Yes, we are working on such technology. We have some cases where a bike does have an accident but still stands upright because it goes off into the trees, it just stands there. And of course the rider is nowhere near it. So if you have a separation of bike and rider and speed, it gives you an extra level of protection or an extra class where you can make an emergency call where sometimes it doesn't work with existing systems.
We have a question.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, gentlemen. The Ram Mansur here from Oydessy magazine. So, my question pertains to the brand identity and how BOSCH is perceived by people in India. So, BOSCH components, safety components are already making their way into numerous two-wheeler products in India. But rarely would you come across people saying that, they're aware that BOSCH has produced those components. They might be aware of the technology such as ABS, but they wouldn't know that which brand has produced them. So my question is, do you see BOSCH becoming a household name in India in terms of safety, producing safety components?
Household name. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Yes, we expect BOSCH to become a household name. Probably not because of safety topics. I think BOSCH is a very, very big company and we have many different product lines. So things like white goods and pressure washers and power tools and these things, this is where we actively promote BOSCH as a brand. When it comes to the space we're talking about, our job is to bring technology to the OEMs, and that's our job. And so we're not there to promote BOSCH as a brand to the end consumer. We're producing good quality technology for the OEMs. If the OEMs decided they wanted to use BOSCH branding, then of course we have that discussion often. It's not a problem on our side, but we're not really, we're a tier one supplier to an OEM when it comes to these components. Our job is to make good technology for the OEMs. It's up to them to decide how they want to brand their product.
So, just to add what Jeff said, while we have been talking of automotive and automotive technology, India, we are constantly working with technology enabler. And that's what our main characteristic is all about. So whenever you want BOSCH to be associated with, we talk of technology enabler, be it in the space of mobility or in spaces of beyond mobility as well as beyond mobility. Thank you. We have another question coming from there.
I believe that the word autonomous mobility is gaining a lot of traction, but I recently heard that someone in his wildest imagination has thought about making an autonomous two-wheeler. Please tell me, how should a diehard motorcyclist take this? A bike riding him, and rather he riding the bike.
There's actually, I won't name the brand, there's two demo office vehicles that are riding around. And also from my perspective, I ride a motorcycle because I want to ride a motorcycle. So I don't want someone else to ride it for me. It's a clear picture from my side. There's only really one area that I would think that we can potentially use that technology when we're really pushing the limits on things like FSD systems. It starts becoming very, very difficult to test them because you need to push them over the limit to find out where the limit is. And I don't like crashing with riders on bikes. So maybe that's one area in the future where we can actually have someone else or something else riding a motorcycle purely so we can find out where the limits of the systems are, but only from a testing point of view under controlled conditions, not anything else. Well, from my perspective, that's the best use case I can see so far. Maybe the other use case I could think about, but it's probably up to you to judge. When we look at sharing of vehicles, would it be useful for a motorcycle, a sharing motorcycle, to be able to reposition itself in the city because an event happened and everyone is picking up shared motorcycles and bringing them to one point, and they need them back out in the suburbs again? If you can do a low-speed maneuver to bring them back out to the suburbs, maybe that would be a use case. But there's a lot of problems to solve before we can do that. Of course, if you kick them, they fall over. And I'm pretty sure people will do that if you see an autonomous bike running around. Some people will push it and it falls over. A different problem.
Colleagues, I think we'll move to the next part of this presentation. I thank Jeff and Prabhu for this part. We will also have them lunch with us so we can still have interaction. And thanks Jeff and Prabhu. And for the next part of the presentation, it's about the journey. It's about the journey that went across 7,000 kilometers. And to do that and present it to you, we will have colleague Avinash with us. Avinash very much part of the BOSCH family. Avinash, I welcome you to take it. We'll just finish to Avinash on what LRBC was and how it went through. And then we will have a small Q&A session as well, if you're interested to know about his journey and the policy as well. Avinash, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Amit. So even I would like to start this presentation by making two apologies. The first one being my throat is not at its best, so I just hope that it doesn't get worse through the presentation. And the second apology is, so we did arrive, which was for 51,000 kilometers, and I'm trying to compress it and tell a story in 15 minutes. So I hope I do justice to it. So to start with, I am Avinash P.S. and I am a motorcycle traveler. I have been working with BOSCH for about 9 years now, and I would like to take a moment and thank BOSCH for its motivation and inspiration and a big support for all its employees to follow and pursue their dreams and passions. So I would really give credit to BOSCH on that. I am here in front of you today, being the motorcyclist I owe it to BOSCH. And to start with, so what is Polar Odyssey? So Polar Odyssey was the dream of 3 riders on 3 Indian motorcycles to start from the Arctic Ocean and ride all the way down to the Antarctic Ocean. So I've made a map so that I can just give you just on what we did. So we started from Alaska, a place called Dead BOSCH, which is even beyond the Arctic Ocean, and then we pan down, get into Canada, get into the USA, and then come down all the way. So here we have covered one of the most dangerous roads in the world. So starting from Alaska, we have the Dalton Highway. In Canada, we have the Dempster Highway. And when we get into the US, so we have the iconic Route 66. Then we get down into Central America, where we enter into Mexico, and we do the Baja, the complete central mainland Mexico. Then we get into the Central America, where we start from Guatemala, get into El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and then Panama. And from there, we get down into South America, where we start from Colombia, and then we get into Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and finally end in Argentina, the southernmost part of Argentina, Ushuaia. So this is basically a list of our journey. So this is our. So to start with, I will start with the senior-most rider in our group, the mountain man, Mr. Deepak Gupta. So he is the most experienced rider amongst us. So he has a whopping 12 lakh kilometers of riding experience, and he is a very well-known motorcyclist among this region. And next is Mr. Deepak Kamat. So he is also very well-known for his around the world circumnavigation on the Oydessy in 90. And third is me. So I have been riding motorcycles for the past 12 years, and I have done about 18 states in India, about 20 countries and 5 continents. So this is about the team. And about the motorcycle, so initially when we planned this journey, so we were pretty clear. We knew what kind of situation, what kind of roads, and what kind of climatic conditions we'd be going through. So we knew that the motorcycle would be put under torture. So the kind of roads what we've been riding through, what we've gone through, is not normal, because each of the motorcycles are actually designed and made to operate in certain specific conditions. But we knew that we are going to put the motorcycle under a torture. So we knew what we had to expect out of the motorcycle. So for us, number one was reliability. We just could not afford any breakdowns, because here, if you see our journey, so this is not the journey, relaxed journey where you take a year and a half or 2 years to do this. So we did this in around 100 riding days. So which means it's kind of an endurance riding. So if you take an average, we are riding about 515 kilometers a day. So that is a lot of riding. So we just could not afford any breakdown. So we wanted a motorcycle which is highly reliable. The number two is performance. So we would be going through the highest of the mountains, the lowest of the seas, temperature ranging from sub-zero to, we've gone to the hottest regions of the world. So going through all this, we were pretty sure that we do not want the performance to be changed. So, and the third major point is safety. So we were sure that we need certain safety systems on the motorcycles, like mainly the ABS, because the kind of regions which I will be showing you. So the main focus of my presentation today is I will be showing you what kind of roads we've actually gone through and how difficult it is for the rider and the machine to do this. So the motorcycle, what we wanted, so we were pretty clear that we want an electronic fuel injection motorcycle, because we don't want to keep changing or tweaking the carburetor every time it goes up the hill or comes down the hill. And we have an electronic safety system to make sure that we don't have to focus. Our focus should not always be on the road, so we have to see around, look around, and enjoy our ride as well. So this picture shows the kind of signboards which you come across when you go up north. So these roads, so to start with, the Dalton and the Dempster Highway up in North America. So these are, among the top 5 most dangerous roads in the world. And these roads are definitely not designed for motorcycles. So the only, kind of commutation you see there are by these ice road truckers who actually transport oil from the barges in the Arctic Ocean down to the mainland. So these are the only commutation which happens there. So you would see, you know, very commonly boards like these saying that motorcyclists please be safe, because they know that motorcyclists go everywhere. So if someone calls it a dangerous road, you will see a motorcyclist going and trying to do it. So, you know, these are the kind of roads which you see. This is at the entrance of the, you know, when we are crossing the Arctic Ocean, the Arctic Circle. So these are the kind of roads which you see. And the first leg of the journey, which is the Dalton and the Webster Highway. So combined, it is about 3,000 kilometers of complete off-road. And in the picture you see, you know, it looks normal, it looks just like a dirt road, but all these roads are made on a region called permafrost. So what is permafrost? Permafrost is a permanently frozen ice. So except for the top 3 meters of land, what you see, if you dig down, it is complete ice. So, you know, over the time, the ice breaks, the ice moves, it keeps, you know, shifting, and then there is absolutely no way anybody can build a road on top. So these are the kind of roads which are there. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, for us, through our journey, the weather has been totally unfavorable. So we were riding through sub-zero temperatures, and to make things worse, it was raining all through. So we had cold wind on us and water seeping through, which was freezing us. And we were riding about 16 to 17 hours a day through this. So this is, you know, the close-up of, you know, one of the type of roads there which we got. So we can see here that it's just not mud. It is, you know, loose gravel which keeps shifting. So you can imagine, you know, riding a motorcycle on it. The motorcycle will be going everywhere. So this kind of road we have for about 200 kilometers, which took us about 10 hours to cover up. And, you know, the next toughest kind of off-road what we got was lush and clay mixed together. So if you observe the previous picture, we were using dual purpose tires, so which is on and off-road, and it has kind of a knob. But here you can see no matter what tires you use, it kind of turns into slick tires, so you just slide everywhere. And every now and then you have to keep stopping your motorcycle because the muck keeps developing, and then it starts, you know, scooping like ice cream. So you have to stop your motorcycle, you have to keep cleaning that and then go. And all this when it is raining and it is so cold out. And in these regions, so there is absolutely no civilization. So you have fuel stations once in 500 to 600 kilometers. So you have to have your planning absolutely right, because you need to know where the fuel station is, how long you have to go, what range your motorcycle has. So we had done certain changes on the motorcycle. So most of the functional parts of the motorcycle are completely stock. So we have the stock engine management, we have stock brakes, we have stock everything. But we have made certain arrangements where we carry extra fuel, so that, you know, our motorcycle range of the motorcycle is 600 kilometers. So we have our luggage system switches, which we have put so that we can carry enough tools, spares, and our personal clothes for about 5 months. And you know, this is a picture of us refueling in the middle of absolute nowhere. And occasionally when we stop for refueling, you know, we see bears and other wildlife, you know, passing around, which very honestly speaking is kind of, you know, very scary. And another common problem or challenge what we were facing off-road is when you are riding on slush and mud, it keeps throwing it on your radiator, and all our radiators were getting thrown. So every now and then when it is raining, we have to stop, take our clothes off, start cleaning the muck off. You take the radiator cover off, clean it, and then you put it back again and then start riding. Or else it's completely clogging up in the cooling system. And just when we thought that things can't get any worse than that, so the kind of off-road here, so they have something called a calcium carbonate in the mud and sand. So this picture I have taken after going 100 kilometers. The first 100 kilometers after I covered, and seeing that my rear brakes are not working. And when I stop and see, you can see that it has completely eaten away the brake pad, and I've not even used my brake. So after that, I changed it once just to find that in another 100 kilometers it's completely eaten off. So now we are in cold, we are in rain, and we have no brakes. So I had just our front brakes. So thankfully our front brakes are not heating off because the mud there was not sitting there. So the entire 3,000 kilometers of off-road, we had to just be on our front brakes. But one more thing, if you notice here, like every 300 or 400 kilometers, the surface keeps changing, and because of that, the amount of brake pressure you give, start slowing down. So here, what happens is once you enter a different kind of road terrain, you get used to it, then you start pushing your. Initially you enter at 20 or 30 kilometers an hour, and in another 20 minutes you're doing 80 kilometers an hour on it, because it's completely empty and we want to reach places. So when you're just on your front race, you have to be constant, you have to be aware on the surface of the road, under you, because if you overbrake, you might actually fall down. So this is where honestly it kind of helps us where ABS was in, and it was doing most of the attention work on the road, checking what kind of a surface it is, and providing just enough braking force for it. So going through all this torture, when you reach the end and you see something like this, is where you think that whatever torture you and your mission has gone through is totally worth it. So that feeling when you just stand on top there and then you have a view like this, it's just amazing. So once we cover the top land, it's next when we started coming down. We started coming down into the mainland canal, where the landscape also starts changing. So from a flat land and just cold and ice, it's where you start looking at trees, where you start looking at mountains closer to you. And so these are some of the most beautiful mountains which we have come across in Canada. And this is the top of the world highway in North America. So this is the highest highway in North America, which when it was built was the highest highway in the world. So that's why it's called top of the world highway. And wherever we were getting a chance, even after coming down into the Canadian region where the roads are paved, so we were leaving no rock unturned when we are finding an opportunity to get off the road and go off-road anywhere, so we were always into it. And this is us camping in forest in Jasper. So it's really funny on how tough it is to go camp outside when it is cold, and how scary it is when you hear bears walk around you in the middle of the night when you're camping in the middle of nowhere. And in my pictures you would see that there are not many pictures where there is snow or ice, and that is because you can see here it's so cold that when you're riding you can see that the cameras also see. So it's not snow which actually is very tough to ride. Snow is okay, it's understandable. It's the dry, cold which is there, and on top of it, when it rains, everything freezes. It is so cold. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that my fingers actually turn blue. Like it's like a step behind, getting a frostbite. So you can see the motorcycles are always covered on ice. You stop, you wake up in the morning, your bike is covered with ice. So in the morning when we get out of our camp at times, I remember telling my colleagues, I just hope that the motorcycle starts, because I don't have the energy to push it or do anything to it. But thankfully, no matter how cold it is, so much covered with ice, with just one touch of a button, the motorcycle will start. And that is something which we love. So you can see even when you are riding, you get down, you look down, and then you have ice covered wherever there is wind hitting you directly. It's just beautiful. So then after Canada, when we enter the US, so for US, for most of the people, USA is just about monuments, like Statue of Liberty or the monuments or whatever. But from a biker point of view, USA has so much to offer. It has so many off-road tracks. So this is the deserts of Arizona and Utah, it is so beautiful, and this is the Monument Valley. So this is a very picturesque point where every motorcyclist dreams to just go there and then take a picture with it. And even through US, we had to go through rain everywhere. But at the end, when the rain stops, so when you see, we see the most beautiful of the rainbow. This is just one of the pictures. So it feels so amazing, going through rain, going through all those hard times, and when you see some, a beautiful rainbow in front of you, it's just mind-blowing. So, of course, these are some of the monuments in USA and Canada, Niagara Falls. And, of course, we completed the entire Route 66, which also is every biker's dream.
And after when we started coming south, we actually were enjoying the cities as well, where that was our chance to just take our Daniel boxes off and then sit through the city, meet the local people, meet the local riders. One point what I would like to put out is when you're a biker, you get the biker community is so supportive of you. Everywhere we go, so the local riders would actually come to us and they would host us, they would join us. The entry into any place and the exit from any place is most of the time it's sorted. So it's an amazing feeling what we have. And coming into Central America, is where the landscape changes again. So here you see mountains, and this is where the start of the rainforest are. So it's an amazing view. And the Baja, so most famously known for its Baja 1000 rally, where it's a strip in Mexico where it is 1,600 kilometers of off-road and on-road. So even there, it goes right next to the ocean. So this picture is at the end of the Baja, where you continuously ride through the beach and you just sit and relax. And this is Central America, riding through the fields, the farms. And in Central America, even certain roads inside the cities are like that. So, and this is Yunga, which among the most dangerous roads in the world, it is ranked 2. It's the second most dangerous road in the world. It is called the death road. So, honestly, it kind of sounds strange, but we kind of look forward to getting into bad roads and one of the most worst roads. And this is Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia. So this is very famously known for Dakar rally. So most of you would know Dakar. So this place also has the Dakar monument. So we have to do. So this, what you're seeing is salt. It is hard salt. So the moment when we enter and stay, I'm not doing more than 20 because it's salt down there. I don't know how hard it is or how I can ride. But in 15 minutes, all of us are doing 100 or 110 kilometers an hour on these surfaces. It's basically complete flat land. So in this one picture, you actually see a little bit of mountains there, but if you look around, it's completely flat. So I'll just give you an example of a funny thing which happened to me. So we went there, and then we went to the monument. But then I was like, okay, guys, I want to go, just flat out somewhere. I'll just go straight and then come back. I'm on my motorcycle, I'm going straight, complete flat out, I'm doing 120 kilometers an hour, I'm going straight. Far away, I see, there is some kind of a monument after about 5 or 10 minutes of riding. And I thought, okay, because we just came back from a monument, and from the homework what I had done, there was no other monument. So I thought, okay, I'll go closer and check out on what it is. So the closer I got to it, that is when I realized it's actually the same monument I started from. So because we don't have any reference here, so I've gone straight, I've actually slightly taken a turn and come back to where I started. So your complete orientation on how it messes up, when you don't have a reference is amazing and scary. So this was one of the best experiences what I've had. And of course, this sunset at the Salar de Uyuni. And one of my most favorite places in South America, the Machu Picchu. And this now in Chile, so we are at the famously known as the driest place on earth. And something funny even there. So we set out to conquer the driest place on earth with 2 liters of water each, and we ran out of it in 2 hours. And the next available spot where we could even find food or water was about 6 hours away, and we had to ride through it. So of course, leaving no chance where there's a possibility you go into the desert and ride, you keep riding until the motorcycle is stuck, and then we have to call in others to pull it out and then take a deviation and go join the into the forest. And when you're riding through the desert, absolute nothingness. So when you see something like this, so this is the hand of the desert. So this, when you look at that, is basically when you actually connect with the landscape. You really feel that Mother Earth actually exists. So when you're riding through all day, it's hot, it's very tough. When you see something like this, it's basically when you feel that the landscape is actually connecting to you. So these are just amazing things. And down in the Patagonian region, so that is when we have complete flat roads straight for miles and miles. It's about 5,000 kilometers of complete straight roads. And here the problem is, until here, so we had two things which was keeping us safe. So one, the roads were quite evolving, the roads were changing, the type of roads were changing, it was getting into curves, it was getting into mountains, which was keeping us very involved. And number two, every 500 or 600 kilometers, the landscape would change. So your brain has actually occupied that. But once you enter the Patagonian region of South America, both of them are shut. The roads are complete flat and straight. You have nothing around you. Even for 2,000, 3,000 kilometers when you ride, it's the same thing which you keep seeing. And because it's so flat and dry, so you can see mirages. So more than 100, 200 meters in front of you, you can hardly see anything. It's just hot air which is emitting itself as water. And if you ask of all these places, which was the toughest road to ride on, like what is that slick, mud you rode on, or the gravel, or the test road, or anything. Very honestly, it was this Patagonian region. Here, we had, one thing which actually was very, very torturous. Even, the point is there, it is very windy. I mean, of course, wind is okay. I mean, we rode through wind, you go up the mountains, you have really high winds, we all rode through wind. But here, the only difference here is wind here comes in pulses. So there is wind for 3 seconds and then it shuts. There is wind for 3 seconds and then it shuts. And it keeps changing direction. So, I keep telling one of my friends, explain it in a very nice way. The wind has no color, it has no smell, and you can't see it. So you can't predict on wind is coming from which direction. Because initially you can think that okay, the wind is coming on 60 kilometers an hour, I'm smart, I can angle my motorcycle in that way so that I can be in the and I can keep going. But imagine you're here, the wind suddenly stops. So I'm not exaggerating when I'm telling you this. So when I'm going straight, suddenly the pulse of wind comes, it literally shifts the motorcycle horizontally by a feet. So this is how bad the wind is. So through this, we have rode about 6,000 kilometers, and it is, trust me, a really big pain in the neck. So, it kind of puts you through the torture, and, this is one of the, worst roads or the most challenging roads that I've been through. And of course, this is the last picture of my presentation. So this is when we reached Ushuaia, which is the southernmost tip of the world. So it's called Fin del Mundo in Spanish, which means end of the world. So the feeling we got, we reaching there, that proud moment. This picture is the first picture we clicked because after 5 minutes we couldn't even see the motorcycle. Like so many people came in crowded and they were just so curious on what is this? Two things. One, they had never seen Indians, wearing all riding gears and then doing such a thing. And number two, they were like, on these motorcycles, are you serious? Because even there are many places where there are these BMW, KTMs and all of these motorcycles parked online, but people would come and see us because they were like, right, how can you ride around the world do such a magnitude of the ride on 400 cc? So very honestly, this was one of the biggest messages we wanted to give. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Our motorcycles are way more reliable, so you have absolutely no problem, and it has enough power to take you wherever you want. It's just a passion. If you have the passion, you can do it. So there's nothing which can stop you. So yeah, so that is our ride. And you guys have any questions, please shoot.
Thanks, Avinash, for this, and thanks for making BOSCH part of this journey. We will take some questions for Avinash.
Avinash, great show, and really very satisfying to see that it's been done by Indians of Indian built bikes. What made you choose the topic?
So, like I mentioned, we were pretty clear on what we wanted. So, number one, we were very clear that we wanted to do it on an Indian motorcycle. So, we did not want any foreign motorcycle. Number two was the reliability. So, we wanted a motorcycle which would not break down every 10,000 or 20,000 kilometers. Power. knew that we were going through some highways where, we would have to be cruising at 120 or 130 kilometers. That's the legal limit. And in most of these highways, going slow is very dangerous than going fast. So we wanted motorcycles which would really, not stress itself, or give us so much vibration when we are doing 120 or 130. And the last part is safety. We were very sure that we need ABS on the motorcycle. And, and of course, the last point, we wanted the motorcycle which, looks pretty good. So, all these things.
How about comfort? Because 51,000 kilometers, safety is another thing you are not comfortable. So what about comfort there?
Yeah, for the comfort, honestly, we have made slight changes on the motorcycle as well. So we have made ourselves custom seats, and the handlebars also we have raised it a little bit so that the ergonomics is pretty comfortable. Because we end up spending about, on an average, 14 hours a day on the motorcycle. So we had to make it a little more comfortable. So we made these changes.
Did you change the tires? Did you change the tires in 51,000? Did you have to change?
We have changed. So we changed the front 3 times and the rear 4 times. So we knew what kind of tires we want in which part of the So on the off-highway segment, so when I say off-highway, I showed you, it's not completely grey but completely, it's a mix of everything. So that's where we chose that in these regions, in the pure purpose side. So either 70-30 or 60-40 or 50-50, depending on which part of the world we are. So we were changing tires while ago. And of course, the first set of tires, we had complete option where we could choose what we want. But after that, we just knew what kind of tires we want, and we just had to pick it up from wherever we get it. So whatever is closest to what we want is what we're picking.
And what's the maximum speed you drove to? Maximum speed you
The highest what was allowed was 130 kilometers an hour in I-90 in Yes, actually, I am writing a book internally, sitting and writing, and I've not